Today we are going to discuss configuration of Linux operating system in the network. So at the time of installation of Linux, we give an host name, we give an IP address, but if you give or not, if you forget to give IP address, if you forget to give host name, how to assign host name and IP address. And also, if you want to change the existing host name and the existing IP address, both are same. So now we are going to configure Linux operating system in the network. So first we can check the host name of the system. Command is host name. So host name is server 8 we given at the time of installation. I want to assign a temporary host name. So host name space I am giving server 18. Sorry, host name server 18. Now check the host name server 18. So this is temporary. When you restart your network services, when you reboot your server, automatically the previous host name is going to be affected. But temporarily I changed. This is for this session only. So when you complete this session, automatically your permanent host name will come. Now what I want to do, I want to permanent this host name. So to permanent the host name, open the file va space /etc sysconfig /network. So open this file. In entry point of view, they will ask the question, what is the file to permanent the host name /etc /sysconfig /network. Open this file. Here see host name equal to, so you can change your host name, server 18. So like this, we can assign the permanent host name to the Linux server by writing the information in etc sysconfig network file. Now to check the IP address of the server, command is ifconfig. Now the IP address is 192.168.0.8. The network card name, always we have to check this name. Maybe depending upon the versions, the name may be different. So you have to check the left side. NIC card name ETH0, Ethernet 0. So IP address is 192.168.0.8. At the time of installation of Linux we given. Now I want to change it. To assign the IP address temporarily, ifconfig ETH0 192.168.0.18. Now check the IP address ifconfig. So IP address is changed from 8 to 18. So this is temporary. When you reboot your system, when you restart your networking services, automatically this IP address is going to be changed. But I want to permanent it. So to permanent the IP address, vi/etc sysconfig network-scripts ifcfg-eth0. This is the file to permanent the IP address. So entry point of view, they will ask the question how to permanent the IP address. Just a minute. Sir చెప్పండి. నేను ఆన్లైన్ క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను. ఒక్కసారి 1 అవర్ కరెక్ట్గా ఒకసారి చేయండి. So if you want to permanent the IP address, open the file vi space /etc /sysconfig /network-scripts/ifcfg-eth0. So what is the configuration file of permanent IP address? So you have to tell ifcfg-eth0 interface name. So open this file. Here see device name eth0, network manager control is yes. So you have to check on boot equal to yes. This means when you reboot the system, automatically it will enable your IP address. So on boot equal to, if it is no, so you have to give the command every time. Previously just now we given one command to update it, so you have to give that command. So you have to put on boot equal to yes. So while installing the Linux, we given connect automatically, one checkbox we given. So if you give that, automatically it will enable. If you forget that, we have to enable automatically every time. So you can open this file, you can write it down, on boot equal to yes, automatically it will update. So hardware address means MAC address. So every NIC card has a physical address is there. So whatever the IP address we given, that is the logical address. But every NIC card has a physical address. It cannot be changed. It is fixed. It is unique. You can have crores of network cards worldwide, but each network head has its own unique number. This is the hardware address. Boot proto none. IP ADDR equal to, you can see this one. This is important. So 192.168.0.8. So I want to change it. But if it is not there, you have to type IP ADDR equal to. So here what I am doing, I am giving 18. So 192.168.0.18. If this syntax is not available in the file, you have to manually type capital letters IP ADDR equal to IP address name. Now save the file. Now before going to communicate the other systems in the network, you have to check self communication first. Ping 192.168.0.18. So it is communicating now. Control C, interrupting that. So I want to ping with hostname server 18. So it give the message unknown host. So by default, each and every system can communicate with IP addresses, but they will not communicate with host names. So any system by default can communicate with address, but cannot communicate with host names. But how do you communicate with host name? Then we have to open a file vi space /etc/host. Every operating system has this file. So you can open the file etc hosts. Then you have to write communicating with host name, IP address first 192.168.0.18. How to communicate with resolving with server 18. Save the file. Now you can communicate. Ping host name server 18. Now see, communicating with host name. Previously not communicated. Unknown host error came. Interview point of view, they will ask the question, how to communicate with server with host name. So open the file etc/hosts. Write down the IP address and computer name. So if you want to communicate the remote system also, so if you want to communicate remote system with host name, so open the file. You have to write the remote system IP address and host name like that. how many systems you want to communicate with host names, you have to write each and every system IP address and host name. Now, how to assign additional IP addresses or virtual IP addresses to Linux operating system. ifconfig. Already we given one IP address. I want to give virtual IP addresses. ETH 0:0 192.168.0.25, for example. Enter. Now you can check ifconfig. See, ETH 0:0 192.168.0.25. So why we are giving these IP addresses? So in real time scenarios, you are going to use the Linux server as a web server, maybe database servers, whatever it may be. We are going to give separate IP addresses for that. So each website, I want to assign a special IP address. So I have to assign some number of additional IP addresses while configuring backup server, sorry, while configuring web servers, while configuring application servers, database servers, I can assign different IP addresses. That is the reason you have to give the additional IP addresses. Now, how to assign default gateway to the Linux operating system? Gateway address. So gateway means exit and entry point of your network. For example, we have a system, laptop or desktop, whatever it may be. We are connecting to the internet. Through how we are connecting means we are using the Wi-Fi routers. So router is a gateway. So it is the entry and exit point of your network. So the router has IP address. That IP address is nothing but a gateway of our system. So whatever the systems are communicating other systems through different port, so different device is nothing but a gateway. Generally, a router is a device to communicate to different LANs in the network, different geographical locations in the network. That is the reason the router IP address we can assign as a gateway. So in interview point of view, they will ask the question, how to assign the default gateway to the Linux operating system. So now we are going to assign the default gateway. So before going to assign, how to see whether the gateway is assigned or not? To see the gateway netstat -nr routing table, network routing table, gateway is not assigned 0.0.0.0, not assigned the gateway. Now I want to assign the gateway of Linux operating system. What is the command? Root add, root space add space default space GW means gateway 192.168.0.180. For example, I am giving in real time scenarios, they will give the gateway address to you. So you have to run this command. So hostname lookup failure. So what we have to do? Restart the services. Service network restart, because we change the host name, IP address. So once you change your host name and IP address, when we return the entries in etc host file, so if we want to permit them, we have to reboot the system. So if without rebooting, you have to restart the service to affect the new configurations. So service network restart. Now give this command. Host name lookup failure. So we have to check cat/etc/hosts 192.168.0.18 server 18 host name. Sorry, here server 8 is there, server 18 is there. Now open the file va/etc sysconfig/network. Here server 18 is there, but here not changed. So host name server 18. Now you can check the gateway now. Service network restart. So I am rebooting the system. Now we have to check.
సార్
Yeah, tell me. Bhaiya.
ఇది రీబూట్కి కమాండ్ ఏంటి సార్?
Reboot only. Or else you can use the unit 6. So reboot is the command we are not going to use in real-time scenarios to forcefully reboot. But if you want to reboot your system, safely you can use the command unit space 6.
ఓకే సార్.
Unit 6.
ఓకే.
Already we discussed it in our run levels class. So now use the command root add default GW 192.168.0. Default GW 192.168.0.180. Enter. Now it is added. Now check the routing table. Now 192.168.0.8 is added. This is the default gateway. Now I want to permanent it. To permanent the default gateway, open the file va/etc sysconfig /network-strips. So already we seen this file to permanent the IP address. Open the same file. So va /etc/sysconfig/network-strips /ifcfg-eth0. Open this file. Go to last line, escape shift G, insert a new line. Now write down gateway equal to capital letters, gateway equal to 192.168.0.180. So now this is going to be permanent. Save the file. So service network restart. So like this we can assign the IP address to the IP address, host name, additional IP addresses, default gateways, pinging the IP address, pinging the host name. So this is the configuration of your Linux operating system to communicate in the network. So you can take every operating system. So if there is no host name, you can assign the host name. If already host name is there, if you want to change, already IP address is there. If you want to change, if there is no IP address, how to give. So everything is same configurations. So you have to remember this point, entry point of view. They will ask the questions. Now configuration of telnet server in Linux. Telnet. Telnet means, sorry, one of other command also I want to show you. So in entry point of view, they will ask the question, is there any other way to assign the IP address to Linux? We have other way, that is setup command. So by using setup command, you can also assign the IP address gateway to the Linux operating system. This is a command line interface only. You can use in command line option also. So use the command setup. So here you can check the tool, select a network configuration tool, enter. So device configuration, enter. So automatically it will show you the Ethernet name ETH0, enter. So here see already whatever we given it's showing here. So static IP address have we given 18, default gateway we given 180, primary DNS, secondary DNS servers not yet we configured. So you can come here. Here also you can assign the IP address. But entry point of view, we have to remember both configurations. So what are the files? So is there any other way? We have another way. That is the command setup. By using the setup command, we can assign the IP address to Linux operating system, gateway to Linux operating system. After assigning that, click on OK, click on save and quit, then restart the network services. Service network, restart. Then it will be permanent. Automatically, whatever the file we edited, it will update. So like this, you can give the another way to assign the IP address and gateway and DNS servers IP addresses. Now telnet server. Telnet means terminal emulator. So by configuring the telnet, we can log in from one computer to another computer. By configuring telnet server in Linux, we can log in from Windows and other Unix or Linux flavors. So from any system, you can log into your Linux operating system. So telnet is a server. To log into your server, you can work. For example, I am a Linux administrator. I created so many users. They are on different places. Somebody they are having Windows systems. Somebody they are having Linux systems, desktops, maybe Solaris or AX, whatever it may be. So by using telnet, you can log into your Linux server. Whatever the work I given, you can complete the work. So how to configure this telnet server in Linux? So in networking point of view, they will ask the questions: configuration of telnet server. What are the requirements? Requirements. What is the required packages? RPMs. XINETD, Extended Internet Services. XINETD. And telnet-server. These two packages are required to install the telnet, to configure the telnet. What is the port number of telnet? Port number is 23. What are the daemons of telnet? They will ask the questions like this. Daemons of telnet means XINETD or in.telnetd. What is the configuration file of telnet? Configuration file is telnet. What is the file location? /etc/ xinet d.d direct. See, like this they will ask the questions. So what is telnet? Telnet, by configuring telnet, we can log in from one computer to another computer. So what are the requirements to configure the telnet? What are the required packages? XNetD and telnet-server. What is the port number of telnet? 23. What are the daemons of telnet? XNetD or in.telnetd. What is the configuration of file of telnet? etc xnetd.dd. Like this the questions will come. Now what we are going to do, so how to configure a telnet server in Linux. So first we have to check the required packages. rpm space -q xinetd. So package xinetd is not installed. Okay. rpm space -q telnet-server package is not installed. So already we discussed in rpm package management, how to install the packages, how to manage the packages, everything we discussed. Now I want to install these two packages to set up the telnet server in my operating system. Now if you have the yum server is there, just yum install package name. If you don't have the yum server, mount the dvd cd/media/packages. So rpm -ieh xinet tab, give the tab key, automatically it will come. Enter. So xinetd package is installed. Now another package, telnet-server, telnet-server. So use the tab key, telnet hyphen, you can write to 2 or 3 characters of server, tab, install. Now the packages are installed, required packages we installed. Now how to set up telnet? Go to cd ctc xinetd directory ls. Here you can see the file telnet. Open the file telnet, vi telnet. So by default telnet is disabled in Linux. Now I am going to enable it. Enter. Now disable equal to yes by default. I want to make it no. So disable equal to no. Only one change here. Open the telnet file, go to the option disable. By default is yes, so I made it no. Save the file. Now service xinetd start. So once you configure your telnet server, already we discussed the services are xinetd daemon. Daemon is nothing but a service. Start the service. Service xinetd start. So check config xinetd on means this is permanent. Chk config xinetd on means this is permanent. Otherwise every time when it is rebooted you have to run this command, service xinetd start, service xinetd start. But I want to start permanently, so run this command chk config xinetd on. Now stop the firewall. By default firewall is enabled in Linux, so no other system cannot communicate your system because of firewall is enabled. Whatever the servers you configured, nobody can communicate you until you stop the firewall. Service IP tables are the firewall's communication in Linux. Service IP tables stop. Stop the service. Now what I am going to do, I am going to Linux operating system. So sorry, I am going to Windows operating system. I want to log into the Linux operating system. So I want to go to Windows, log into Linux. See, server is Linux, clients are Windows. How to log in? Now go to Windows. In Windows you have to check the IP address. Go to here network icon, open network and sharing center, go to change adapter settings. Here you have the option Ethernet. Click on properties, check the TCP IPv4 Internet Protocol version 4. So already I given the IP address 192.168.0.20. Linux IP address is 192.168.0.18 we given. So same network ID you have to use. Host ID you can change. Click on OK. OK. Now, like Linux, how we install package, in Windows also you can install the telnet package. So that is nothing but a add programs. So by default telnet command will not work on Windows. So you have to add the telnet command. How to go? Go to search. Here run control panel. Control panel. Go to programs. Turn Windows features on or off. Like in Windows we used RPM. In Linux we used RPM. In Windows you have to add your programs like this. So what I require, I want to require a package telnet client. So check the box telnet client. So by default it is not available. So I added it. So check the box, click on OK, close. Now go to run command, open the command prompt. So first ping your server. Always you have to check, ping the server. Ping 192.168.0.18. Reply from. So the server is communicating. My Linux server is communicating. So I want to log into my Linux server. Command is telnet. Server IP address 192.168.0.18. So Red Hat Enterprise Linux server. Login name. So who are the users are there? Ashwin is there, for example. Ashwin. Use the password. So password is not there. Assign the password to Ashwin here. passwd Ashwin. Cat etc passwd. So Ashwin is not there. Anvesh is there. passwd Anvesh. So now go to Windows. So use the telnet command. Username Anvesh. Give the password. So see, Anvesh logged into the system. Now he can work on the system. He can maybe the database user, maybe the web user. So he can work now. So like this, by configuring telnet server, you can log in from Windows to Linux operating system. You can work. So come out from it. Exit. Exit. So after completion of work, you can come out. So real time scenarios, we are going to work like this only. But telnet is a not secured tool. That is the reason they introduced SSH. SSH is a secure communication, but SSH will not support by Windows. That is the reason in real times what we are going to do. So we are going to download the Putty software. So Putty is a software to download your Windows system, log into your Linux systems by using SSH. Because Windows will not support shells, SSH like Linux based shells. That is the reason. Open Putty. Here you can see the options. SSH is there. So here also you can use telnet. Telnet. So IP address 192.168.0.18. From here also you can use. So directly you can go to the command prompt. Telnet will work. Otherwise, you can open Putty, give the IP address, login name Anvesh, password. So like this also you can work. So either command prompt you can use or you can use Putty software also. So this is the class today we are going to complete. So tomorrow we are going to discuss about SSH communications. So by default you can log in from one computer to another computer by using telnet, but nowadays telnet is not a secure communication. That is the reason they introduced SSH. So tomorrow's class, how to log in one system to another system by using SSH. Meanwhile, so I am going to show you login from Linux to Linux. So Windows to Windows we log, so Windows to Linux we logged in by using telnet, but Linux to Linux same command, same syntaxes. But we have to see. So from today onwards, we require two systems Linux because of one is I am going to use as a server. See, this is like server. One I am going to use as a client. So another system required to practice networking. So log into your Linux server. Now use the command telnet. By default, telnet command will not work like Windows. Also, we added uh, telnet package. So you have to use telnet package mount /dev/cd-rom /media. See, server side we install telnet server package. Client side only telnet. Go to cd/media /packages rpm -ivh telnet -0 tab. Telnet -0 tab. Only telnet. Now command will work. Now telnet. So command is going to be work. Now telnet. What is the server name? Server IP address 192.168.0.18. Username Anvesh. Give the password. So login as Anvesh. You can work now. So already we logged in from Windows. We created these files. From Linux also you can log in. From Solaris also you can log in. From AX also you can log in. So by using telnet, you can log into your server. You can work. Then you can come out from the server. Connection closed by foreign host. So this is the class today we completed. Tomorrow we are going to see the SSH configurations. So how to configure. So by default SSH is enabled in Linux. The how to login by using SSH. How to make it trusted relations between the servers. Because once you log in one from one server to another server, it is asking passwords, but I don't want to ask passwords. Without password I want to log in. So why we required in some applications, some databases, passwords clustering configurations, passwords cannot be asked. How to set up that type of servers, they will ask the question in interview. So tomorrow's class we are going to discuss about how to configure SSH no password authentication servers and how to copy the data from one server to another server. So up to now, in basic commands we seen, we copied the data from one directory to another directory, one path to another path. But I want to copy the data from my server to remote server. So how to copy the data from one server to another server, how to log in without passwords to one server to another server, what is SSH, what is the features of SSH, what are the authentication shows, where the authentications information source. So tomorrow's class we are going to discuss. Okay, is there any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, today onwards we have to configure another Linux system. So you can give the, just now I showed you I have to give IP address and host name. Don't give same IP address, same host names on each system. So if you give server 18, next system server 19. 192.168.0.18 if I give, so you can give one system 18, one system 19. From 1 to 254, you can give any name. But same IP address, same names you cannot repeat on other systems. That point you have to remember. So conflict will come. Okay.
Okay. Okay.